Hi all. Hopefully you're progressing through the course well, and I will remind you that I do have a suggested calendar for how to sort of keep a good cadence throughout the semester. Ideally, if you're pacing yourself fairly evenly, you should be sort of nearing the end of um, module 2.1, starting to get into some of the metric system stuff here. Um, but I do want to cover some common questions I've had so far about the course. I want to reiterate if you haven't had a chance to really explore the course much or watch the initial introduction video, that a lot of these modules were adapted from uh, sort of a standardized course that was developed by the biology department, and it includes, or it's typically part of a face-to-face class. So some things I've had to sort of adapt to this online only and synchronous model. Um, if you ever see things that mention in-class activities or quizzes, please disregard those. I've sort of streamlined it to be more focused and I guess palatable for an online modality. The other thing I would mention is that beyond some, random things like quizzes and stuff like that, I believe there's also like submission to make it, I guess, clear that your module was completed. If that gives you any errors or glitches, don't worry about that part at all. The modules are meant to be more instructional, and sort of guide you in an interactive way through the material. Um, in addition, I can track all of the viewing you do, so I'll know how active you are actually viewing these modules. So don't worry about any of that submission stuff, any quizzes that are mentioned. All that's going to be graded are the things that are actually on the course schedule. So with that said, I do want to cover quickly some questions I've gotten in a few of the sections that I teach here that are most common, beyond just some of these, why is it asking for a quiz? What is this glitch here? Um, but for the Tay-Sachs case study, as part of the activity relating to this first module 1.1, looking at levels of organization, um, I do want to cover a little bit of the material here. All right, so here in this activity, you've got a case study looking at a specific condition, Tay-Sachs. There's a little, blurb, a couple paragraphs here about the mechanism, etiology of this disease, and a few questions that are pretty easy to get from the instruction provided here. One question that I'm getting some questions on, and is five, and to a lesser extent six. Um, People are wondering what exactly is being asked, or they want to make sure that they're answering it correctly. So I'll go over that section now just to make sure we're all in alignment and sort of use that as a foundation to build on as you move through this course and as you apply this information to supplement your A&P 2401 instruction. So in question five, after reading this description that you have provided of the Tay-Sachs condition, it's asking you to define all these different levels, tissue, molecule, organ system, etc., what the effect is caused by this disease. So for A, it's asking about which type of tissue is affected when someone has Tay-Sachs disease. And we get that from this information here. So in the description of Tay-Sachs, it says that this molecule plays a critical role in the brain and spinal cord. Those would be the organs. You can also use that as tissue that's affected. Um, I guess I don't mean to jump around here, but it also asks which molecule is affected. That's also stated here. This molecule, referring to this enzyme, beta hexosamid, I get that. Beta hexosaminidase A. That's the actual protein, the actual molecule that's defective in people that have this mutation at the genetic level of this gene hex A. Hex A just being an acronym for hexosaminidase A. Um, so all the information is here. Organ system affected, that's your nervous system, which includes your brain, spinal cord, right? An organ system is composed of multiple organs. These organs, brain and spinal cord, are composed of tissue, specifically nervous tissue. You know, that's the specialized type of tissue that's made up of nerve cells or neurons. So those are types of cells being affected. And then the only other thing I haven't mentioned so far is organelles. And again, you should have already gone through the instructions in the worksheet that sort of lays this out a bit more. And by worksheet, I mean the objectives and the notes. Um, Organelles are just smaller compartments within a cell that have specialized functions. So in this case, the organelle that's mentioned are the lysosomes in these nerve cells or neurons, and they're used to sort of clear things and sort of recycle, almost like little stomachs for the cells. And those are dysfunctional due to this uh, molecule, the beta hexosaminidase A, not being produced correctly. And that's sort of the cascade that goes from organelle, or I guess from molecule, all the way down to organ system to give people some pretty serious damage that can be progressive and get worse over time. So hopefully that answers any questions you may have had over what this question number 5 is actually asking. Again, you can pull it from the uh, paragraphs up here, but otherwise feel free to, reach out as needed. And for number 6, there's really no immediate need for you to ask me to check this question. I'm going to check it whenever you submit it. And when these first couple modules are due, which will be February 9th, so next Sunday, modules 1 through 2, I guess 1.1 all the way to 2.3 will be due, and I'll see it then and I'll make any corrections. Again, I'm primarily grading those assignments that you turn in for completion, so make sure you answer every question. And if I see anything that's wrong, I'll note it, but I likely won't take off points. I just want to make sure you have the correct information. And again, that's why I'm going to keep doing sort of videos like this or updates if it's a much more straightforward matter. So you've got a good sort of pulse on your own performance and grasp of the material throughout the semester. So again, the easiest way to sort of make sure you're on track is just reach out, ask me anything, and I'll make sure that you're focused or getting the correct information, processing it correctly. But yeah, that's the main thing I sort of wanted to cover with just some of the common questions I've received, early on in the semester. Otherwise, keep moving along and, feel free to move ahead. This is just a suggested pace. Um, or if you need to make it up later, that's fine too. As I mentioned, I'll take any assignments late for 70% credit, but don't feel like you'll ever be too bogged down as long as you sort of can put in the work. And if you need my assistance in any way, that's, also something you can do. Um, but yeah, hopefully you're getting a good feel for the material and navigating the course on Blackboard. Otherwise, reach out, stay in touch, and I'll try and post videos or longer emails regularly to make sure I'm covering any sort of gaps that I see arising throughout the 3 sections that I teach. So with that said, look out for another one of these videos and reach out with any questions.